Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to some more Magic Green, and today we're going to be playing another Premier Draft of Tarkir Dragonstorm. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one. Pick one. This is a decent opening pack, not super exciting. I think the main picks here are between Mardu Monument for great mana fixing or Kin Tree Severance for a solid, decently flexible removal spell, thanks to those two-grid mana costs where you can spend two generic or a mana of any of the three Obzon colors. These are pretty reasonable. This rare isn't terrible, but it's not really worth going into three colors right off the bat for, so I'm going to take the Mardu Monument here. I like this card and all the monuments for their flexibility, where they're very good if your deck is just that clan. Like if we just make a Mardu deck, this is going to be great, but there are also plenty of viable 4 and 5 color decks in this format. And if we play one of those, then these will be really, really nice as well. So a little more flexible than normal for mana fixing. For pick 2, I think Road Watchers is strong enough Obzon rare to take here. I certainly like it a lot better than the Mardu rare we saw in pack 1. There's no incredibly premium monocolored cards, although we have used Dispelling Exhale in our last couple decks really, really well. I do think this is a super high pick for me, but not quite over Road Watcher, I think. So we'll try this out. This is great for any aggressive deck that can easily trade off with creatures in the early game to have creatures with mana value 3 or less in your grave by the time you cast this. That's the best way to use that, is to know you already have something to reanimate by the time you're casting it. But you can also cross your fingers and cast it blind and just hope that you hit a mana value 3 or less creature in the top 4. That's a little bit more viable when you run a deck with a really high creature count at 3 or less mana. I think that's the biggest downside of this card, is that this format is really slow. There's going to be a lot of decks that are not running that many creatures mana value 3 or less, and it's not that good if you're not running a bunch of those. So it is a little bit of a build around, but a very strong build around. Pick 3, I like Temur Monument a lot for the same reasons I like Mardu Monument, so I don't mind that at all. Kin Tree Severance is also decent. I like that better than Strategic Betrayal, because you can always be in a position where your opponent has some kind of 1/1 Spirit token from an Endure card, or a 1/1 Goblin from all the Mardu nonsense, and you end up just killing their token with this thing, which is a really, really bad spot. It's very matchup dependent, better in a best of 3 draft than best of 1 for sure. I'm going to go for the Temur Monument on this pack. Pick number 4, we have a Tri-Land, we have a Piercing Exhale for decent green removal. Not a whole ton elsewhere. Tawny back is pretty fine, pretty decent. Take the Tri-Land to go with our Road Watcher. Plus, we have multiple different clans of monuments, so the Tri-Land helps a lot to that if we play 4 or 5 color 2. Pick number 5. Not in love with this pack, and will not be super excited to play anything in here. Not a single one of my cards even touches blue at this point, but I do think Focus the Mind is the strongest of these cards. It's really nice card draw, and the blue controlling decks with a bunch of instants do play really, really well. That was basically what our last deck was. Did a Temur mono blue control deck. I guess Kin Tree Nurture is the best card to go with the Road Watcher, but it's not even that good. Yeah, I'm just going to stay pretty open here and take Focus the Mind as the strongest card. Pick 6, not a great pack. Blossoming Sands is fine. If you have a bunch of orbs, the Dragonstorm Globes, then Boulderborn Dragon's fine, but without them it's pretty weak. Dragon Brood's Relic is really fun in 5 color. It's a very powerful ability late in the game, the big life-linking dragon that clears out a creature when you play it. Take the Dragon Brood's Relic. Pick number 7, a Sultai Monuments. All the monuments all day. Don't mind if I do. Pick number 8, Blue-Black Fixing, Ice Ridge Serpent. That's it for cards that I'm excited about. Take the Dismal Backwater. Pick number 9, another Focus the Mind, pick 9. That is really late. It's definitely my favorite card in this pack. Pick 10, Jungle Hollow, beautiful. It's actually really good here because we're really not committed to anything. We have monuments all over the place, sure, but then I have like a couple cards towards Obzon and a couple blue cards. So now having multiple duels towards Obzon with our Yathan Road Watcher, that's really nice. Having the duels overlap a little like that. Pick 11. Got that Strategic Betrayal pretty late. I do think it's playable. It is main deckable even in best of one. I just wouldn't take it over most of the other removal spells. So we didn't. We waited for it to wheel, and now we'll pick it up. And the Kintree Nurturer also wheeled, which was the only other card I was thinking might be okay out of that pack just because it goes with Road Watcher fine. Alright, well, I feel like we're just gonna take the strongest card in the next pack and play those colors. If we open like a good rare or mythic here, let's take that and build around it. If not, we're starting to look like maybe Sultai at the core. Multiple black spells, multiple good blue draw spells, and then green is just a good core color to run a lot of fixing. Okay, we did not open up a particularly good rare. This is fine in aggressive Boros decks like Mardu and Jeskai, but not really for a splashy or slower deck, which is where all of our cards work well. So Nomad Outpost, Karakik Guardian, and Sibsig Appraiser are the options. Have been really impressed with Karakik Guardian. Just hexproof until it deals damage. If your deck has a decent mana curve, often just the first swing off this just kills your opponent. And even if it doesn't, the 6/5 is pretty big. That can be hard to kill even without the hexproof. But the hexproof is just excellent. Yeah, I'll take the Guardian. Pack 2, pick 2. Alright, well that changes things. Sinkhole Surveyor is an incredible 2-mana bomb rare kind of creature where it's super, super strong if you run it out on turn 2 and start getting those attacks in immediately. And the only way to do that is to run black as one of your core colors and not be super, super splashy. To where you are running at least like 8 black sources ideally. So that works a lot better in like an Obzon deck. If we can curve like Sinkhole Surveyor into the Road Watcher to where even if they kill it, I reanimate it, that's really, really filthy. So Surveyor, I think, is definitely strong enough here to speculate on the more aggressive, more Obzon-oriented build here. And now for pick 3, the Salt Road Pack Beast is nice in that kind of deck. Once we've got enough creatures on board, this can be really cheap, plus draw you the card. Don't think it'd be bad in the splashier deck either. This may be a draft pod where like monuments and stuff are so criminally underdrafted though that I should just be like a 7 monument 5 color deck. I think that's the main competition. Pack Beast versus Monument. Pack Beast great in an aggro deck that's playing to board, playing to the board. Monument great in 5 color Mush. I don't think we've seen a lot of the good removal running around for 5 color Mush though, which is awkward, but at the same time that means none of the good removal for black-white either. Pick 4. Not a big fan of this pack. Nothing good for Orzhov aggro. Dragon Sniper's nice if we go green-black and splash the white. And Dragon Sniper's still going to be really useful for the slower deck, with green as one of the core colors, so I do like that. Pick 5, Skirmish Rhino is fine. The only thing here for the 5 color deck is Bloodfell Caves or Overwhelming Surge. Pick 6, there we go, there's some removal. Take a Kintree Severance over Sandstep Citadel here, and Stormplane Detainment. Just think there's enough ways to blow up enchantments that make the Kintree Severance a little bit better than the Detainment. Pick 7. Another Kintree Nurture works well with the Road Watcher, or the Great Arashan City is fine once you're flooding out in the late game. Does help you get some creatures still, but I'm going to go for Nurturer here. Plays real well with Pack Beast too if we want to go wide off of it. Pick 8. Salt Road Skirmish, I'm pretty low on removal. A second Skirmish Rhino also good, but I think I need the removal pretty highly. Marsh Flats is fun. Black-white fixing, but Gotta get removal here. I have 3 creatures right now that come with a +1/+1 counter. I don't think that's enough to make blood flies good. But I do think green black splash white looks better than white black splash green here, so I'll go blood flies over practitioner. Not excited though. Pick 10, easy Sultai Devotee, 2 mana, 2/1 Death Touch, and one of our 2 colors of green and black. Sidisi is fun, but not really that good unless you're like the red-black deck where you have the 3 mana 1/2 that makes a 1/1 when it comes into play is like pretty gross with Sidisi. Alright, Nightblade Brigade is fine. Just getting more creatures here for a Road Watcher. Random Sun Shield to play throughout the curve. And we've become a pretty basic Obzon build here in the end. We have this final pack to go ahead and get our last 6 playables and really improve this. I guess 8 playables ideally. Well, there we go. Bloomvine Regent is incredible. 5 mana, 4/5, gain 3. Sorry, 5 mana, 4/5 flyer, gain 3. Or it's your mana ramp early with Claim Territory. Really, really excellent card. Wildling also good, Botanist is very good, Dragon Spray is very good. Quarry Steelcutter is broken, but we're not really a good red deck to be using that. Come on in, Bloomvine Regent. Pack 3, pick 2. Saga Wildling's very good fixing. And gives us another good late game flyer. It's another dragon to trigger off of the Bloomvine Regent's effect. I don't mind that. Pack 3, pick 3. The only 2 mana creatures we're seeing are white instead of green or black, which is really awkward for our mana curve, but Felithar also works great with Yothin Road Watcher. If we get any Mobilize, that's really good with it, but it's also fine with our Endure cards that we have. I think I take that. Pick 4, we have Marshal of the Lost, which is pretty solid at getting some big attacks in, but we also have Osseous Exhale. We're still kind of low on removal. Definitely low on non-creature spells, just period. So I'm going to take Osseous Exhale. Another Salt Road Skirmish over Spirited Vanguard. Card is good, but so is removal. I'm going to have like 7 non-creatures. I guess 17 creatures, 6 non-creatures is about where we want to be. We're only on 5 non-creatures right now. One of them is Alesha's Legacy, which is really bad, so I need a few more. So come on in, Salt Road Skirmish. Sagu Pummeler. I think I'll take Sagu Pummeler over Dragon's Prey at this point. I actually do like Sagu Pummeler's stat line quite a bit. 7, another Nightblade Brigade, got a Sun Shield. I guess I still don't have enough playables, so for now we're still running both Sun Shields. Sultai Devotee looks good here. Trade Route on white does not look bad, but I want to curve out with 2 drops more often and have more cards for Road Watcher to pick up off the mill. Pick 9. I guess this is the Host of the Hereafter deck. Now I finally get to cut these Sun Shields. Still have 23 non-land cards. Yep, exactly 23 non-land cards here. Rojaf Mistrise Village. I don't think Desperate Measures or Adorned Crocodile are actually that good. Probably rather have Adorned Crocodile. Alesha's Legacy, drop Unburied Earth Carver, and cut the Blood Flies. Alright. This is 23 non-land cards. 17 lands, just a pretty basic Obzon deck here. It's the weakest clan in the format, so I'm not super pumped, but this looks like about as solid as Obzon generally gets. It's like the best build of the worst deck, kind of. Not the best build, but a better build of a very weaker archetype. Looks fine by me. Yeah, we'll just call it a deck here and hop right into the gameplay. Here we are on the play for game number 1. That's what we like to see. We are on the play with a curve out here, Devotee into Nurture into Pummeler. Having 2 tap lands, having both of the tap lands in this deck in the hand, though, does mean we don't actually like curve out here. In turn 3 we have to play a tap land and another 2-drop. Abzan Devotee is annoying, because it is a good trade into any 2/1s because it can just come back later. You do have to soak up a lot of mana to do that. I think I'd go for Beef here to play around token production from our opponent. Could have seen the argument to Earthcarver there into playing the 4/4 next turn as well. Well, they missed the land, so Wayfarer just 1/1 trades into Nurturer. Sad day. Kintry Severance doesn't do anything right now. Sure. Pummeler Curve would have ended up working a lot better this game. Host of the Hereafter. Okay, that can get exiled and then they have no threats. And I can play Dragon Sniper still in the same turn. Sure. They are chilling right now. Just gonna removal spell one of these little guys. I guess, maybe the big flyer. Oh, return 2 creatures from their grave to their hand? Sure. So we can still get it into the sky, but the host is gonna keep the Earthcarver off. They go for the Wayfarer, though. They just really need mana, it looks like. Mill 3, they do find the land this time. Also, the Wayfarer is like a good blocker for Dragon Sniper, which is annoying. Most obnoxious card in the format. I hate Thoughtseize with a passion. Well, they are now way ahead on cards. They've played multiple 2-for-1s in a row here. So now we're just gonna lose the long game unless we draw really well, because they've still got 5 cards left. It's only gonna take 1 or 2 to stabilize here. Well, we did draw really well off that one. No flyers. I'm gonna just drain them here. Rakshasa to kill the Dragon Sniper for free is rough. But they still got nothing to do with that flyer. They're dead in 2 more swings to Sagu Wildling. And it is particularly tragic that the Thoughtseize exiles as well. Because if I could get the +1/+1 counters, we could kill them in one swing here. Could also kill them in one swing if I top deck removal, which is why I didn't block, but I didn't top deck removal. However, it looks like our opponent sure did. Yep. If they could have killed the dragon earlier, they would have done it, so. Good draw is good. Absolute flood. Tragic. So close. I'm down to 4. But they just played 1,000. Not 1,000. They played a few 2-for-1s and got really, really far ahead in card advantage. Yep, sick rares too with Surok. Might as well. Synchronized charge for the kill. That is 0-1 heading into game 2. Oh man, I'm thinking back on the removal spells we have in the deck, and I'm just getting more sad about that game. Because our removal spells are Salt Road Skirmishes, we have 2 copies of that. That's Destroy a Creature, Mobilize 2. That would have been lethal as a draw like 2 turns in a row there. Alright, here we are for game number 2. This is definitely a slower hand here, which is awkward, but it's got perfect mana here. There are a lot of slower decks in this format, potentially. So I think I gotta keep the perfect mana hand versus a mold down a card. Herd Heirloom Mana Rock over there. Now we've got one piece of early interaction with the Osseous Exhale. This Heirloom's really concerning because it's going to help them cast their creatures faster and then turn into a card draw engine after that. Super good. I could Kintree Nurture, but I kind of think I have to exhale this Botanist ASAP. We'll see if they have a counterspell out of their blue. Or Snakeskin Veil out of their green. Either would be pretty devastating. But they don't. We kill the Botanist. Temur Tawny back for a 4/3, draw a card, discard a card. Kind of want to skirmish here. Because if they keep a 4-power creature on board, they're going to draw a card off that Tawny back if they get through our board state. And we can't really play in a way that makes it easy for us to block that. Right, like the best we can do is just play like a single creature that would trade off into it. You know, like the 2/1 and the 1/1, try to double block it. Or play the Nightblade Brigade, try to block with a Death Toucher, but one removal spell off of either of those plays either makes me chump it or just lets them draw a card. So the only way to know they're not drawing a card off their heirloom next turn is to spend the Salt Road Skirmish. But the other issue to consider is that it's not like I have infinite removal here. So, especially against Temur, there's a lot of really scary giant creatures. So saving Skirmish for like a Mammoth or something is probably better. So we'll play the Kin Tree Nurture. It hedges our bets a little bit, where even if they have a removal spell, I could still chump to stop them from drawing a card. And even if they have a removal spell, I get to keep a 1/1 here. But also we put the stat lines to threaten to kill the Tawny back. So we do kill the Tawny back, but I didn't realize how good that heirloom is. It gives trample too. So even trading into the Tawny back with anything other than the Host of the Hereafter would draw them a card. Yeah, that thing is just a complete nightmare. Yeah, if I play a 4/4 on blocks, they just trample over, draw the card, and they're up a card again. I guess I had to just skirmish last turn. But this play is pretty much the same. Had I skirmished last turn, I wouldn't be able to skirmish the 5/4 instead. We're just getting absolutely crushed by this heirloom. I can't double spell here no matter what I do. Fine removal for the flyer then. Our own flyer does not quite work. It only has 4 power. Devotee doesn't do anything because it is on the ground, but I can Road Watcher plus Devotee here. I'm just dying to Karakit Guardian really quick because they're drawing an extra card each turn. They'll have infinite cards to just throw removal and counter spells at our stuff. They can trade 1-for-1 over and over again and still be way ahead because they're drawing an extra card each turn. So yeah. The 1-for-1 counterspell, really good for them. This card is filthy. I don't think I've ever played with that yet. I think I've passed it once or twice. I might stop passing it. It is very deck dependent. It's a little bit narrow, because you need to be a deck that can consistently attack with 4 power creatures, but Teamer can really do that. What can you do? Pray for Salt Road Skirmish to resolve. Eventually something will resolve, right? Give me a break. Haste Flyer for lethal. That is 0-2, which is absolutely tragic because Abzan is my personal favorite clan flavor and mechanic wise, but this is kind of how it feels every time I draft Abzan. See if we can fight our way out of the 0-2 start, try to rally it up as we head into game number 3. Here we are on the play for game number 3. We've got that turn 2 Sinkhole Surveyor, the whole reason we really pushed towards a streamlined plan-focused deck. Of course. The one time we draw our 2-drop Bomber, they just immediately have the Death Toucher. Really annoying. We need to find the white source to clear that out, or our Surveyor does literally nothing. I could Wildling into it, I guess. But there's the Skirmish. I like holding the Wildling to go with this Regent for multiple big flyers. Feels very valuable. I'm going to juice this up a little. Try to get it out of reach of bite spells, which is where their creature deals damage to ours. Equal to its power. Plus, I think just like one big snowballing threat is a lot scarier than a bunch of 1/1s generally. Well, shoot. I'm gonna have to wildling into white, aren't I? Just into a mana in general for the region. Yeah. If I choose not to kill the sharpshooter this turn, I can get mana efficient. And play the pack beast in the same turn. You know, it would play really well if our opponent thought we were using some kind of combat trick or something here, and they chose not to block. Which it looked like for a split second there. They were considering. Big old Seed Prowler. Mills 5 does not hit any Harmonized cards or anything like that. We draw the Road Watcher for if the Surveyor dies. Keep playing Flyers. Here's Bloomvine Regent. Uh-oh. Flurry with the Iridescent Tiger into any card of any color. Off of Wooburg, white, blue, black, red, green over there. Seize opportunity for the draw 2. They're looking for interaction. They find a land and a wildling, so 2 lands. And they pass. This is big, big damage from the Flyers here. Sinkhole Surveyor really putting in work this game. They just did not have the cheap removal for it. They had the cheap Death Toucher, but we found the removal for that card. Surveil Earthcarver into grave, drop Devotee and pass. Eugene! Exile our best threat, gain 3 and draw a card.
Open your mind to possibility.
Specifically exiles 2, so I can't get the Surveyor back here. If I keep hitting their face with Bloomvine Regent, I'm only getting 1 damage through a turn because they're gaining 3 of it back. Whereas if I keep hitting Ugin, I'm only getting 2 of the damage in because they keep getting 2 of it back. There's kind of like nothing you can really do against Ugin. But I think we have to send it all at Ugin. Got a Road Watcher post-combat to bring back the Death Toucher, probably. One of the Death Touchers. I don't know if I send Sultai Devotee in, because it just trades into Wayfair, but these 2 for sure. Yeah. Exhale the 5/5. But then they can get its +1/+1 counters, which is pretty much just as bad. 3 +1/+1 counters out of the grave. So they'll still have a big blocker after all this. I can't Road Watch, this is not the white Devotee. If they have like a Dragonstorm Globe or something, it is gonna be really bad for me. Okay, Earthcarver is also pretty dang bad. I just make the 7/7 and I can't attack with Regent anymore. I really hope they play the 3/3 blocker on the ground. Because if they make it to 7/7, I'm not getting any damage in, and Ugin just keeps gaining life drawn cards, just completely runs away with it. Well, if they play like that, we're probably dead no matter what. That's the other problem. Because I'm not sure that they would choose to make it just the 4/4 unless they also had something to kill Regent anyway. At least I get to attack with Back Beast too. Okay, they didn't. Very incredibly slowly working on Ugin here. As you do. I don't really have the expendable stuff for Felithar right now. I would really want Felithar and a Mobilize card. I still think I have to pick Felithar to get everybody big enough to attack into the Earthcarver and attack through the Wayfarer. Another Salt Road skirmish would go so ham right now. Destroy the biggest blocker, get 2 1/1s, sack one of the 1/1s off of the attack with Felithar to buff the whole board permanently. Gain 3, draw a card. Ugin has gained them like 20 life by now. From all of the gain 3s plus all the damage that he's soaked up because I've had to attack him over and over again. Molten Exhale on the Felithar. The other problem is that Ugin's also been like a 4/1, like exile a creature, draw 3. Very big Earthcarver. And removal off all the extra cards they've been drawn, that makes sense. Another gain 3. And it is a 3 power blocker to trade into the Sultai Devotee. Trade into Saga Wildling. Another Surok deck. Another Karakit Guardian 2. Sort of been like almost game winning at a different time. It's almost completely irrelevant now. I blow up Earthcarver, but then they draw a card from Surok's ability. And then I don't even have good attacks still. Because their 6/5 blocks my 4/4. They could have Surok just trade into Devotee. And Ugin's at 9 loyalty regardless. They only have 7 cards left in their deck. I guess that's the plan. I can't live long enough though, because they have 9 power on board. Jesus Christ, they drew so many cards. They do have to draw a card when I skirmish somebody. So I guess there's that. We can't know for sure, but the way that Arena did that really made it look like that was the draw off of the Sirach trigger. Comedy. Comedy gold today. Well, our last 2 drafts in a row were 7-win trophy. Our last 2 drafts in a row were 7-win trophy runs, so I guess we were on cue for an 0-3. But it still feels brutal every time. We just ran up against 3 incredibly powerful decks in a row with the weakest clan in the format, and that can absolutely happen to you. I think, honestly, the main thing we could have done better was during the draft. I was a little too open to playing obs on here, honestly. I think with all the monuments that we had early, I should have just been the 15th for 5-color mush pile in a row instead of trying to play a focused clan-based deck on the weakest clan in the set. We should have been the 5-color soup deck running this Karakit Guardian, this Dragon Brood's Relic. Just the same kind of thing that you've seen a lot in the past here. I wanted to believe in the power of Sinkhole Surveyor into Yathan Roadwatcher, but it did not work out well. We didn't get a bunch of other good, cheap, aggressive cards to go with it. We're in the weakest clan. I got a decent amount of removal. I think the biggest thing that can make this deck better, if we still wanted it to be this deck exactly, would be better early game threats. We just did not find good aggressive threats in this draft pod really to get our curve started out super well here. I think that's the biggest flaw in terms of this kind of build. But in terms of what we actually could have improved and done differently, like I should have just stuck to the monuments and played 5-color mush. Would have been better. It plays a lot better to the strengths and weaknesses of the different colors and archetypes and everything in this format. So I guess the big learning key point of this draft is don't play Obzon unless you have really strong reasons to do so and like a really good consistent curve. We had strong reasons to do so between Roadwatcher and Surveyor, but we did not quite get there when it came to playing out a good aggressive curve. That part was definitely not able to outrace our opponents just being like, oops, Ugin, you lose. Oops, Karakit Guardian, you lose. We needed to be a faster deck for sure if we wanted to be doing this kind of stuff. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.